Hi guys, this is BoxeR bringing you an audio commentary, and I've got the best of the best alongside me to witness the best of the best. I've got Cholera and Diggity, and we're going to be watching BoxeR versus Reach. That is right, you have not been time warped into the past.
Oh man.
This is not 2001, this is 2009, this is the new Esports Heritage League, and even though I am very much happily married and in love with Mrs. BoxeR, I want to find the person who came up with the idea for this tournament and give them a big kiss. Probably with tongue, because this is just the most awesome sauce that has ever been come up with ever. I'm hugely excited for this, and I'm sure Cholera and Diggity are as well.
I have to say, out of all the matchups, this is the one I'm looking forward to the most, simply because these are the guys that are still somewhat active. You have BoxeR, who's definitely not in top form, but still playing at a very high level, still a pro gamer, versus Reach. Same category, has been on Air Force Ace, and actually playing really well lately. And of course they're playing on Python, the old school map of old school maps.
Man.
The map that refuses to die, which I think is absolutely hilarious. But this is definitely one of those matchups where you just got to say, one for the ages. I really like the idea of this tournament altogether, and I'm really excited about this match in particular.
Dude, this is like, seriously, this is like you took like Genghis Khan, and that would be Reach, and he's fighting Julius Caesar right now on the field of battle. And Julius Caesar would be, of course, BoxeR, the original general, the best of the best. I mean, Alexander the Great versus Julius Caesar, whatever you want to make it. There is the man toss right now. He is, he has recently been very busy, lots of world events, catching nukes with his bare hands, saving Hawaii, and recently convincing Sailor Perlin to stop being governor of Alaska, which helps everybody. But now he is going to be facing BoxeR. BoxeR has just played one game so far in the Pro League. Well, actually, I'm not going to say the results. Winning or losing against 4GG. And Reach has been playing a lot more games recently. I do think he's a little more practiced. Now, for those of you who remember, and for those of you who don't remember, I am going to tell you, these two faced off against each other in 2002 in the Sky OSL. And this was Reach's only gold medal, was facing off against BoxeR. It was also, I believe, like the third commentary series I ever done. And Reach actually won 3-1 against BoxeR. Of course, like, back then, people didn't even know about expanding. Like, I think there was a rule you couldn't have more than one base or something, but everyone started off with one base strategies. Actually, Reach was very expansionistic, no kidding, and he actually used cannons a lot. BoxeR went M&M one game, Reach went DTs against M&M or something like that. Anyway, it was nuts, and I expect some crazy stuff here. BoxeR, what do you think about these two players? I mean, who would you say is a favorite here?
You know, it's really hard to say. I mean, on the one hand, it looks like we're starting up with close positions here. Reach at the top in red at the 12 o'clock position, BoxeR in teal at the 3 o'clock position. But yeah, while Reach has been busy catching nukes with his bare hands and saving Hawaii, BoxeR hasn't been idle either. BoxeR, as a matter of fact, was in a secret meeting with President Obama recently, and well, it wasn't so secret because I know about it, but he was in a meeting with President Obama because he is President Obama's main strategic advisor on how to deal with North Korea and North Korean dictatorship. And in fact, President Obama said in a recent press conference that he considers BoxeR's tactical genius to be an absolute invaluable aid to his planning. And interesting enough, Cholera, you mentioned Sarah Palin. Sarah Palin actually came out with a response to that in the press, and Sarah Palin said that, well, she said, well, she is the ex-governor of
Sorry, had to say
She said, well, she is the ex-governor of Alaska, and Alaska rhymes with Nebraska, and Nebraska begins with an N, and North Korea also begins with an N, and Nebraska has a K in it as well, so she doesn't need any local knowledge to figure out her strategic initiative against North Korea. And as far as she's concerned, President Obama is wrong to be asking BoxeR for advice. Anyway, BoxeR is playing a supply demo at his ramp. It'll be interesting to see if he chooses to wall off. On the questions of definitely Reach is more practiced. He's been playing some good solid StarCraft recently, but BoxeR is still around. I mean, he's still, after such a long hiatus, he's finally come in and he put a decent showing in against, again, we won't spoil the results, versus 4GG. BoxeR now putting his racks down, not in a blocking position on the ramp so far, but it'll be interesting maybe he puts another supply depot or something in there in the middle, taking his gas as well. Reach, meanwhile, has put his pylon down, but he hasn't, and he's taken his assimilator as well. So yeah, I guess the pendulum would probably be slightly in Reach's favor, considering the fact that he's got more practice recently.
I'm going to have to favor Reach as well, just because he is better. I would say he's more well-practiced, I should say, overall. Not better player overall. BoxeR's BoxeR. But we'll see if BoxeR has something for him, because he's BoxeR, he's creative. The problem is this is Python, and I don't know if you can really say that there's a staler map. I know this is, well, it's slightly Terran favored at times, Python, but it's been played so long that, you know, you really can't say it's favored one direction or the other. But as far as a creativity factor that BoxeR really enjoys, he's not really going to be able to tap that on this map in particular. It looks like Reach is hiding a pylon, maybe to throw BoxeR off at his secondary. BoxeR going directly into Factory, sealing his front door. This is close position, so we could see a vulture drop. And I have to say, on the Sarah Palin Obama thing, I'm just privileged that we could see these guys. I mean, it's difficult enough for them to get out of their houses with the throngs of women that are constantly camped outside. Seriously, how do they get out? I don't know. It's just ninja their way out.
Yeah,
I guess that's
I mean,
part of their... Got to be a trained ninja
Cloak.
to be these guys. Yeah, Cloak. They're actually DTs that play the game. Anyway, looks like Reach is scouting the 9 o'clock position first. BoxeR did manage to get into the base, not finding the pylon, so he's going to cycle back around to make sure he's not missing any hidden tech or any sort of proxy tech here. Bring his SCV back out of the base. So Reach is going to probably take a little bit of an early psychological advantage as a result.
Yeah, absolutely. The hidden pylon to make the Terran paranoid is a classic move here. And looks like, well, I'm not sure actually whether BoxeR is going to go 1 base or 2 base here. It does look like he's mining gas, but I think since he's already put down his machine shop and I don't see any second building, I am expecting a fast expand here from BoxeR, although certainly BoxeR can surprise me. It might be a starport build actually. We're going to have to see. Certainly Reach has actually done very well against fast expanding Terrans. I've casted obviously a ton of his games. BoxeR is going to fair fast expand, and Reach has been incredibly manly as usual, but very successful with his bulldog strategy. Basically, against a fast expanding Terran, he goes for drops and then tries to break open the front door at an unorthodox time. Basically, when the Terran doesn't really have that many units, and normally though, you know, the Protoss wouldn't be able to hurt them, but Reach finds ways of getting his drops in perfectly. Looks like BoxeR's going to get a scout in Reach's base. He's not going to see anything, which is also seeing something, because Reach obviously is saving up minerals for, as you can see, a Nexus here, and I think BoxeR's going to know it's a fast expand build, so both players actually have gone for fast expand on Python, which is standard. I was actually possibly expecting one of them to do something, you know, a little more one base-ish, a little more rush-ish, but looks like both players are going to start off slow here and try to out-macro each other. You know, I do think that that in this kind of game, BoxeR's creativity, you're absolutely right. I mean, vulture drops, tank drops could play into a factor. On the other hand, this is the same for Reach. I mean, we'll see if he goes for Robo afterwards. I think he probably will go for some kind of drop no matter what, just because he likes it.
Yeah, exactly. Reach has got some Dragoons out patrolling the area as well. BoxeR with his first 2 siege tanks out, now ready to push out and control that territory, take his National Expo. And I'm not sure if this strategy plays a little bit into BoxeR's favor. I think personally, when both players expand and the Terran economy is allowed to continue unharassed, that's something that can really help a Terran, especially if they're able to macro up. But on the other hand, as you said, Reach has these kind of ways of timing his attacks. Now he's putting a 2nd and 3rd gateway down as well as his robotics facility. So I wouldn't discount his choice of strategy either. But yeah, I mean, I gotta disagree with Diggity about Python. It's one of my favorite maps, and I think it's provided some of the most memorable games of StarCraft we've ever seen. We've seen so many classics on this map. We saw that epic game between Firebat Hero and Savior, and I believe we had BoxeR involved in an absolute great, fantastic matchup against Flash when Flash was first bursting onto the scene when the Emperor schooled the new kid on the block. So I have a soft spot for this map, Python, and I'm really hoping these 2 players will be able to bring the very best out of it with their stellar play.
I just feel like strategically a lot's been done. Right here, interestingly enough, I think BoxeR was expecting a DT drop. He's definitely got those turrets near his base. He's also got 2 tanks, which would have helped immensely against any sort of Reaver drop combination. But yeah, I think he was thrown off. He was expecting some sort of tech push off that first pylon. He hasn't gotten a scout in since. I have to think at this stage, with the lack of pressure, he's thinking, oh, okay, there's got to be something else going on. He's got that Marine in that left corner. This is going to help him immensely. Seeing that Dragoon planted out in that field, I'm not sure that Reach really needed to plant that single Dragoon there. I think BoxeR has already sensed this. He's like, okay, he's going to go for a quick third base, that upper left-hand corner. Looks like that probe is already headed that direction. BoxeR very quickly putting down some additional factories, probably upgrading mines, but he's still going to keep those tanks in the background. And the other thing I want to comment, and he's going to see this observer now moving in, which gives him a clue that, okay, not going against any early DTs or something like that. One thing I do want to mention is BoxeR built his command center really far back. He didn't really build it up to the edge. I'm not quite sure what the logic behind that was. Maybe to be a little bit more protected, maybe hide it against an early observer or something like that. But yeah, very, very defensive position. Now he's just got some vultures wandering out in the field, able to kill a probe, able to spot the Nexus for sure, and it looks like just able to get it away. But yeah, at this stage I think he has to be like, well, crap, because he's playing a little bit defensively here, and now Reach is going to take an economic lead.
Reach is definitely very good at doing that. Actually, back in the day, as much as I joke about him not going for gas, he actually was a very expansionistic player, at least against Terran. Against Zerg, obviously, everyone does 2-gate once in a while, and Reach's 2-gates are you know, par none, basically. But yeah, he actually used to expand a lot. He, you know, played safe. The thing is, against BoxeR, you have to play relatively safe when you expand. You know, he put photon cannons down. That seems really basic, but you know, sometimes Protoss don't do that. Their new bases against Terran, they get owned really badly. But Reach always makes sure to do that, and he, you know, basically out-expanded BoxeR in most of his victories. Looks like BoxeR is just scouting out here with a couple more vultures. It's not going to do much. I think BoxeR is actually expanding at the lower right. So this is interesting here. Oh man, BoxeR getting in there. Looks like gets like just one kill though. Not going to do much for him. So Reach right now has not done anything to BoxeR, and vice versa, really. At this point, I think both players are just perhaps trying to make a crowd pleaser here. You know, they don't want it to end it with cheese. Obviously, both players have tremendous respect for one another, as all the old school players do. I mean, you know, think about players who were around in 2001. They are some fine examples of them in terms of actually still playing and being around. Not many other players can be said to do that. I mean, most of them have retired. But anyway, by the way, this is the eStars Seoul 2009 Heritage League. Just to talk a little bit about the format, since there's a bit of a lull in the game. There were 10 classic players, quote-unquote, invited to this tournament, which has a very large prize pool. I think a $30,000 prize pool, or is that the first prize? I think the first prize is $30,000. Anyway, with only 10 players, there's actually quite a long round-robin format that's going to last for 2 weeks or so, and then we're going to have semifinals directly afterward, I think, between among 4 people, 4 remaining players. And you know, I could list the players, but we're going to see them very soon. We're going to probably see a couple more matchups if we're around to do the casts. So this should be very exciting. It's basically 9 really famous players and Toss Girl, actually. I should mention that. But you know, Toss Girl, it just has to be invited, I guess. I mean, it's just classic to have her around. But you know, we'll see how she does and how the rest of these old pros do in this tournament.
Yeah, and Reach looks like he's getting ready to make a move with that expansion, or make a push towards BoxeR at the bottom right-hand corner where BoxeR set up that expansion at the 7 o'clock. Now, I don't think Reach has got any units over there, but he did have that observer over BoxeR's National Expo, and he would have spotted the SCV transfer moving down towards that expansion at the 5 o'clock position. Reach with a lot of Dragoons in place, and I wonder if BoxeR spread himself a little bit thin here. If Reach does go for an attack, Reach has got a shuttle as well. I'm not sure what's in it. Probably we did see a robotics facility. I don't think I've seen a Temple Archive, so it might be a Reaver in it, but he might just even be wanting to use Zealot bombs. Stargate, Reach looks like he's going to ready to put up Stargate now, and Reach maneuvering around, just using it for looking at Reach's first-person view. Looks like Reach is going to go and attack BoxeR here. Reach drops Zealot bombs, but the shuttle gets taken out. He manages to take one of the siege tanks out, now pushing in towards BoxeR, picks up another siege tank and pulls out, but BoxeR's defense seems to hold there, but Reach has actually opened up a path, and you can see on Reach's first-person view on the minimap, he doesn't have vision of that expansion, but I think he knows it's there because he's heading in that direction, and I'm sure he spotted, you can see his observer there in the first-person view mode, he spotted the SCV transfer, so he saw BoxeR trying to expand back to equal his expansion, and now BoxeR is in a little bit spread thin, and Reach has got a massive force in BoxeR's expo at the 5 o'clock position, and I'm not sure if BoxeR is up to win. Reach got lots of manlots heading down towards that 5 o'clock position as well, and I really don't think BoxeR's got enough to defend this. Reach with Zealots coming in right now, though his forces are separated, the Zealots and the Dragoons, and he's just trying to wait for his Zealots to arrive, and those Zealots are comfortably dodging the spider mines that the goons already cleared out. Then Zealot's going to close right into the siege tanks. The Observer coming right on top. And BoxeR's force is going to get surrounded on both fronts here. This is looking horrible for BoxeR. This expansion move might not pay off. BoxeR brings the SCVs out to fight, but the siege tanks are all gone. The Dragoons are going to clear up the vultures, and BoxeR is going to take a massive economic hit from this. Brilliant strategy by Reach. He spotted that expansion and went for it, and this is the aggression that we know that Reach is so famous for. BoxeR trying desperately to defend this expansion, but I think he's going to probably end up losing this expansion now.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the logic behind taking this expansion was, and it looks like, yeah, a lot of Zealots free, a lot of Dragoons free. They're just going to start whittling their way against that command center. I'm not sure why the Zealots aren't just running in and massacring SCVs at this point. BoxeR putting down a couple more factories, but it's just such a far place to try to reinforce. He's bringing in some tanks and vultures now. I don't think it's going to be enough. He still has a couple, actually, he might be able to hold this expansion. Just 4 Dragoons left, a couple Zealots, and the Zealots are very spread out, and it looks like a decent amount of SCVs are going to survive this attack. So Reach not doing as much damage as I think he hoped to. And yeah, just still 2 Zealots alive, 3 Dragoons, and it looks like they are going to get cleaned up between the SCVs and the siege tanks. So very nice defense, and I think that was a little bit of complacency on Reach's part. All he had to do was attack move that command center, and he was going to be fine with that. Bringing in another attack force to try to clean this up, but the reinforcements looks like they are going to be on the way. BoxeR's secondary very thin though, very thin. And it looks like Reach is just going to take this opportunity to try to clear out anything in between that area. Let's see if BoxeR will be able to actually defend that natural expansion, because now more troops pushing in. BoxeR's probably going to have to draw those troops back from the bottom right. And let's see if Reach can do another positional attack and just run. No, I'm sorry. He's going to have to back up. He's got way too many Dragoons, not enough Zealots. He's really not going to have the speed to push back, but it looks like he does have a contingency plan. He has the 2 starports and an Arbiter Tribunal up, so he's just going to rely on stasis and his superior economy into the mid-game, just about to take a 4th expansion. But getting back to that, yeah, I'm not quite sure why BoxeR decided to go for that expansion in the bottom right, which is a lot harder to hold, to take his 3rd gas, instead of just going for the mineral only. So where you can basically, you don't have to cover as wide an area, and you can defend your mineral only as well as defending your natural expansion from that location. Instead, he's ending up extremely spread out, and I don't feel like he's gaining anything, really, at least in this strategy, by that 3rd gas. Right now, he's got a lot of vultures wandering out to try to engage this. Let's see. Reach, actually, I don't like his unit composition very much. I feel like he's a little bit too Dragoon heavy for being at 3 bases. Really, he should have some more Speed Zealots in there, or some more High Templar at this stage. It might be that they're just, all of that gas is being taken up by those Arbiters, but nevertheless, more Zealots at the very least would be nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think BoxeR partially may have taken it just because he didn't feel like maybe he feels like his micro honestly might not be up to snuff to do a mid-game Terran push as well as some Terrans could, and maybe he was thinking, well, I better play defensively and set up a very good defense, which he did do, by the way. I mean, this is a very solid defense here that we see in the middle. It's the only thing that's really kept him alive. BoxeR with a drop, it looks like. Yeah, it must have been a drop, but it gets not much inside of Reach's base. There's BoxeR's base. As you can see, he's getting upgrades. He has a science facility right there. I think BoxeR basically wanted to play more of a static defense game and try to out-expand Reach, because I think personally he didn't have enough faith, perhaps. BoxeR is one of the most experienced players. He should know when he plays well, and he should know when he doesn't play well. I mean, he's like Sun Tzu, he knows himself. So I think there's partially a reason for that. And I think, it almost held, but Reach's attack was very well timed, and certainly BoxeR didn't have enough, really, he did take down the shuttle, but not enough turrets overall to take it down quick enough, and that was what allowed Reach to get all the way down there. Looks like BoxeR has managed to secure a very, very strong shield here, but like you were saying, Diggity, Reach is definitely taking advantage of the economics of this game. He's picked up the whole left side now. Now he's on 5 bases total, and with the main bases getting mined out very soon, that means an even bigger proportional difference here in resources. Looks like Reach is at +1 attack. BoxeR is probably ahead at this point. Reach hasn't really done much with his Arbiters yet, and look at this. This is a very smart play here. Oh man, BoxeR losing a dropship. Ouch. Bit of a error, I think, flying over those Dragoons. But, Reach is playing very smart by putting gateways here, just in case, he loses main somehow due to a big Terran push. He's not going to lose the game, and he certainly has resources to do that. So I think this game is definitely in Reach's hands if he doesn't mess up, and if BoxeR doesn't pull off a BoxeR move, of course.
Yeah, Reach looks like he's just about starting to run away with this game. We're looking at Reach's first versus move, and it looks like BoxeR's red moving across the map, realizing that he needs to put some pressure on Reach. BoxeR has got that science vessel. He's got a decent sized force of vultures, and he got good depth and time. Reach looks like he came in for a mini break there, but pushed back by BoxeR's forces, and that shuttle is once again gonna get picked off. Reach loses another shuttle. He hasn't been able to be effective with his drops, and BoxeR's for now seems to be holding, and he's pushed up in the middle of the map, and Reach now coming in with masses of arbiters. He manages to get stasis on a large number of BoxeR's forces, a lot of siege tanks, stasis, yet Reach cannot break because BoxeR's got a second line of tanks. He's got a second line of about 6 tanks that is holding that arbiter just hovering above BoxeR's forces, and it's going to get picked off by that Goliath, and the arbiter goes down, and Reach still not able to break. I thought for sure when he got that incredible stasis off that he would actually be able to take all of those units down, but he wasn't able to. Reach still, though, you have to say, has the advantage, and it looks like Reach has actually lost a lot of units in there to BoxeR, because he seems to have a much smaller sized army right now. In that engagement, he's only got a handful of Dragoons and Zealots. It looks like he's just circling around trying to find an avenue to attack, and he really needs to make it count. But look at BoxeR, he's macroed up out of nowhere, and that third expansion is really telling in BoxeR's favor in terms of his defense. Now Reach bringing in some units to try and clear those tanks out, but the stasis goes away, and BoxeR's going to just clear out those Zealots with a scan, and Reach is maneuvering, trying to find an avenue to attack. Even though he's up in terms of bases, BoxeR seems to be just about holding his own, and Reach might get all of his Dragoons trapped here. BoxeR with vultures around Reach's Dragoons. EMP goes off, damaging the arbiters not only, but crucially the shields on those Dragoons, and those Dragoons are now trapped. They are trapped in a cul-de-sac, and there's nowhere they can go, and they're just being slaughtered. This is absolute slaughter. This isn't a fight of a military. This is military versus civilians, and Reach's entire army gets slaughtered, and this gives BoxeR an opportunity to come back in this game when it looked like Reach was about to run away with it. This is exactly what Caller was talking about. I think BoxeR has just pulled off a BoxeR-esque move, and it might just give him a chance to take this game now.
And yeah, it looks like BoxeR has little to no army. He's only got 1 arbiter in the air. I thought for sure when he had the 3 arbiters versus the single science vessel and that huge stasis, he'd be able to accomplish something. Unfortunately, I think he had, again, too many Dragoons, not enough Zealots, and not enough High Templar. And now he's going to crash down. He gets good stasis, but there's still too many siege tanks. That's just too small an attack force. It looks like he's going to get an empty storm right there, and he's going to back off, losing absolutely everything.
Oh, man.
And Reach is at full breach now. He has nothing to hold. He has absolutely nothing to hold back BoxeR. You can see the look on his face. He's just like, I cannot stop this at this stage. I'm not sure I liked his choice of strategy on this map. First of all, I didn't like his unit composition still. I think if he had more Zealots, he would have accomplished more with those huge stasis. But I don't think that the kind of architecture of Python works very well for kind of that stasis attack strategy. I think it's much better for a map that has kind of a less kind of slanted path structure, like Neo Medusa, for example. On here, he stasised, and then he just couldn't get anywhere. He couldn't even go around that top edge of that huge amount of stasis without taking hits. It's almost like it provided a nice extra natural barrier that BoxeR could work with. But now Reach losing expansions, he's going to end up actually getting economically wiped out, because these are his 2 producing bases. BoxeR picking up another base at the 6 o'clock. He's going to be able to secure the main there in not too much time. And Reach is going to be at 3 bases, 2 which I believe are mined out, and the last one, which is looking very thin. Finally getting another army. I still feel like too many Dragoons. Let's see if BoxeR's produced enough tanks to kind of counter that. He does have a lot of tanks out in the field with the level 2 weapons, which they're just going to eat those Dragoons alive, and especially without Arbiter support. And a couple High Templar moving about, but I still wonder, where are the Zealots?
Yeah, I have no idea. I think BoxeR may have given, he donates his testosterone once in a while for people who need testosterone. I just made that up, obviously. Sorry. And I guess that's the reason why he doesn't have enough manlots. But maybe he's just trying to experiment to try to win without manlots. I mean, without Zealots, TVP. But obviously, yeah, it's definitely a strange game here from the man toss, and I do think, unfortunately, this is going to mean he's going to lose it unless he pulls off some kind of miracle, which he has a large army, but I don't think he can do unless he gets very lucky. And BoxeR has done a great job in terms of pushing forward slowly and steadily and getting Reach into unfavorable positions when Reach was attacking. I mean, you're right. Python, if your Terran's doing a slow push, it's buildable in the middle. BoxeR had mines, he had supply depots, he had turrets up everywhere, and Reach just couldn't get deep enough. There was just such a deep tank line and it was a very well done strategy by BoxeR because it's so big in the middle, and it's yet hard to surround. It's not like one of those situations where you can't build like Medusa, like you were saying. Anyway, it looks like BoxeR sieging up, and Reach needs to be able to handle this army, otherwise I think the game is over. There he goes with the Dragoons. He needs to get some crazy storms. Is he going to be able to do it? Looks like he gets one good storm. Oh, EMP on all the High Templar. They do get a couple more storms actually, but it doesn't look like it's enough. A lot of Dragoons have gone down, and BoxeR has done a great job this entire game of picking off the High Templar, either with EMP or with Vultures. Just look at how many tanks there are there, and I do agree that I think Reach could have done with a little more, much more Zealots than he had Dragoons. So it does look like Reach is probably going to go down at this point to BoxeR in this game.
Yeah, I think the reason why Reach went for so many Dragoons is because he felt he was economically ahead of BoxeR, and he felt that therefore BoxeR would try and counter by going for massive Vulture raids. And I guess he felt he needed the Dragoons to control the map, to clear out those spider mines and to take out those Vultures, and have a mobile army. I think that's why he was so Dragoon heavy. And I think it was also just a case of timing. BoxeR continuing to pick Reach's units, and I think BoxeR's EMP, we shouldn't discount how brilliant BoxeR has been with those
awesome.
EMPs.
Yeah.
He has just been perfect with his EMP use in this game. You know, it's like, I don't know, it's like Flash is EMPing for BoxeR right now and microing for him. Although, I mean, you know, obviously BoxeR is BoxeR. He doesn't need anyone to do anything for him. But he's just completely outplayed Reach right now. And I think the big problem for Reach is that he's lost every single engagement that the two players have had. Bar that one engagement where he had a vastly superior force as BoxeR's 5 o'clock Expo, where he did catch BoxeR slightly short-handed. He won that initial engagement, but then BoxeR brought the reinforcements, and I guess Reach didn't inflict as much damage in that as we thought he might have, which is what allowed BoxeR to stay in the game. And BoxeR didn't go for those Vulture raids. He just built up a large-sized army and pushed out when he was ready, and it looks like Reach was just caught a little bit unprepared for it. BoxeR continuing to scout with that science vessel to look for EMP placements, and Reach at this point is on the verge of defeat, or on the verge of going down to the Emperor.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything Reach can do at this stage. It looks like he's trying to sneak an expansion in that top right corner. BoxeR actually EMP'd an Arbiter there just to kind of prove a point, I guess, and this Arbiter right here is going to get pushed away. That poor Arbiter. It looks like it actually is escaping with its life, which surprises me, but look at that huge army running underneath there. A couple Vultures just in an SCV huddled in a corner around the middle of the mineral pile, hoping to survive this war by not being seen. Cowards. BoxeR's got every expansion in the map.
Wow.
Otherwise,
that's ridiculous.
Putting down a ton of factories. It looks like he's going to put down a bunch of machine shops as well. And yeah, Reach is just economically finished. His natural expansion is separated from his base in the upper left-hand corner. He doesn't really have a unified army. He would have to stasis absolutely everything and just kill everything in 10 seconds to win this match, and that's not going to happen. Nice Side Storm there. So a little bit of a nice defensive play, but it looks like BoxeR was just kind of splitting his army up, trying to draw those Dragoons out, which he was successful in doing. Now a bunch of Vultures going to be able to wander up there and take everything out.
I mean, I think BoxeR's EMPs absolutely have been critical to this game. I also, you know, I'd like to say that, you know, certainly whoever wins this game, certainly, you know, Reach winning the game would be awesome, but BoxeR winning is certainly great because it does give, and GG come in there, it does give the Emperor some needed, you know, well-deserved and needed confidence in his play. So Reach, you know, handing one over, you know, losing one, BoxeR beating him, but BoxeR certainly, you know, must be feeling great about that because he's just back in the scene, you know, after several months of kind of like, I guess, you know, kind of his own self-enforced, you know, sabbatical from StarCraft, from, you know, playing pro games. There's the handshake, of course. These are two older men, two, you know, heroes of StarCraft. So obviously they respect each other. BoxeR pointing to his head and being like, yeah, this is, I beat you with my my brain. And BoxeR is the champion here, and certainly that's good to hear. You know, we're going to see 3 other games that are played on July 14th also, July 13th rather. Perhaps we'll be able to cast them, we'll have to see. But, you know, GG.
Yeah, fantastic play by BoxeR, and you know, Reach might be the Dark Lord himself, but I'm afraid he's had to kneel in subservience before the Emperor today. And you know, before this game started, you would have probably said that Reach, Savior, and Nada were probably the favorites from their respective races, since they, I guess, are the most current players to have a chance at winning this competition.
That's any
but
time
BoxeR
also.
has just shown, right? Well, I guess. But
Yeah,
BoxeR
yeah.
has just shown that you discount him at your peril, and Reach certainly discounted him at his peril there. But you know, I just want to come back to something that Cholera said earlier that I've been thinking about for a while as well. That BoxeR, you know, he was the person who revolutionized StarCraft from its inception. It was because of him that we have
Absolutely.
StarCraft pro gaming the way it is today. And to think of the fact that this guy is still able to perform after so many years, when so many other players have come and gone, even players like Savior, who I thought would never end his reign of dominance, has fallen from grace. And yet BoxeR, okay, he's not at the level that he was, but he still continues to produce great StarCraft, and every now and then he comes up with just a blindly brilliant game of StarCraft. And you know what? I've been thinking about why esports isn't big anywhere else in the world, and the reason is because the rest of the world hasn't discovered its BoxeR, and that's what Korea has that no one else does. But that was a vintage performance from the Emperor himself.
I have
Diggity, you got anything you want to say before?
Nope, that's it.
We
Oh, I
end?
do want to mention that I have these are spoiled for me, by the way, most of these. So it's not like I'm casting these like awesomely. I think most of these games I know who the winner is, barring whatever, or have seen the matches before. I always put that out there just so I don't feel disingenuous.
Yeah, that's always good.
I don't know
All
about
right.
you guys.